Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. This is my second ever webinar. I did my first one last week, which was sort of like a part one, I guess, which saw me share some of the strategies that helped me get through isolation after finding myself arrested at an airport in Argentina and spending 2.5 years in prison. If you watched that webinar last week, then you'll be aware of my backstory and why I'm now doing a second part to that series that is going to focus a little bit on some of the tips and strategies and I guess again learnings for myself subsequently from that experience. When I arrived back in New Zealand, I met up with, well, online, funnily enough, met up with some people that shared some similar interests. They were either forensic psychologists or cyber investigators or lawyers we all shared a common interest around cybercrime and what was happening. So probably through them, I have learnt most of, or some of what I'm going to share with you today about some tips, I guess, because at this time, as we're all experiencing along with the isolation, is that there's many more of us that are spending more time online because we're either working from home or trying to fit work into our home life, or however you may describe it for you. Or you just may be unemployed and spending, anyway, whatever your situation, chances are you may be finding that you have a little bit more spare time. So you spend a little bit more time online. Now, one of the challenges that, or one of the things I faced, I guess, when I came back was people saying how it's only the vulnerable that get scammed or defrauded, or where fraudulent activities happen to them. And I thought about this for a long time, and I thought, vulnerability, it's an interesting word, interesting concept, because I guess my challenge is we're all vulnerable at different points of our life to a smaller or larger degree. And so I looked up the definition, and don't quote me on this because I haven't checked it for a while, but it's something along the lines of where we may place ourselves physically or in an emotional state where we may, in a position where we may experience physical or emotional harm. So I guess my challenge is if we're spending more time online, then by merely having a presence online may increase our level of vulnerability. And if we add to that things like feeling a bit alone, being isolated from whānau and friends, and, not going about our normal daily routine, I guess that starts to move us up a scale of vulnerability a little bit. So I just wanted to start from there because it's an interesting concept. I certainly share the whakaaro, the thought that we are all open at some point level, whatever you may call it, to finding ourselves becoming a victim or nearly becoming a victim of some type of extortion across the internet. So what do we do? Well, I guess in my last seminar, I shared things like a lot of cliches. And I guess in this case, one of the ones that rings particularly true for me is if you ever get that feeling that something is too good to be true, then believe it. Because I guess certainly based on my experience, I'm 99% sure that particularly if it's something that's happening across online with someone that you've never actually physically met, or you may have recently met online or whatever, if it's across the internet, then be wary. If it does feel too good to be true, then do your research. Check it out. It's one of the things that I probably didn't do enough of in terms of researching. Nowadays, if you spun a story about, we hear of them all, but trust me, people still fall for them, about the dude in the army who is down on his luck or just needs to send something home, or whatever the story may be. Then just put a little synopsis of that story into Google and check it out, and you'll find that these stories or these scenarios have been repeated many times over, and there have been many victims left behind in their path. So that's one of the things. And the feeling that you get, if you just, along with those euphoric feelings, if it's a romance where you feel good and everything else, just try and keep a little bit of balance. If you find you're becoming obsessive, then, talk to someone, talk to a friend, talk to a whānau member, or talk to somebody else, or send me an email, whatever. But talk to someone about what's happening for you, just to get a little bit of balance back in your life. And be prepared to hear their concerns, because at the end of the day, they are probably the ones that truly love you. I've made some notes, but psychological grooming. Now, I've shared this story many times that previously I used to be a probation officer, and I used to work with a number of sex offenders, pedophiles. And so I studied and was aware and spoke to them often about the strategies that they use, the psychological grooming techniques that they would use on their young victims. Despite me knowing this, it wasn't until after I found myself arrested that I was able to look back and actually see that that was really what was happening for me, that I was being groomed. All of those strategies that those sex offenders use were happening in my situation. My online lover was building trust with me, and slowly but surely was setting me little tests and all of these things. So again, talk to someone. I don't think I was willing to listen to what my friends and family were telling me down the line, but in those early days I was just sharing the euphoric. I wasn't sharing the concerns, I guess, and wasn't even aware that there were concerns at that point. Yes, it was 9.5 years ago nearly since I first met him. Funnily enough, today, 9 years today since I was arrested in Argentina, and the time has certainly flown. But anyway, back to that. So that psychological grooming, just be aware of it. Look up what the techniques are. Check and see if the same thing's happening for you. Those little tests, the first time you send money, then, you almost, it's like fishing. You're caught on the line and they just keep reeling you in and reeling you in. It's hard because we want to believe a lot of it. And especially at this time, if you are feeling lonely or alone or just not feeling in a good space, to have someone telling you some really good things or getting you excited about stuff, that makes you feel good. And of course we all want to hear those things. But again, caution, be talking to someone about it. Again, send emails, get online. There'll be some information out there. Just put in some keywords. Most things can be found nowadays. There are many, many websites that talk about romance, online dating, all of those things. If you're on a dating site, then be careful. If they want to get you off too quickly, that's a sign. If you go online, if you're able to, and Google what are the signs of being scammed, they just go on forever and ever and ever, and I'd encourage you to do that. Excuse me. Nowadays, we have access to all of these apps that are just social media apps, and I'm talking beyond Facebook, Instagram, and the ones that we primarily know, but some of the game apps, like Words with Friends, some of the other ones like that. People are approaching you every day, just about. LinkedIn, come on. They're not dating sites, folks. Don't hit someone up on a professional networking site that is about employment and career opportunities. I don't want to be hit up about how nice you think I might be, or that you want to get to know me a little bit better, or there's this, that, or the other thing. It's about creating, employment opportunities, and yes, in some cases, relationships, but, just be wary and report them. Make sure that if you realise that someone is a scammer or they're not who they're purporting to be, then report them back to the host site that you're on. Look, I'm not going to make this too long because there's all sorts of tips and strategies out there. I guess my most important message is trust your gut. I wish I had of. I can remember the battle going on between my heart and my head, and it didn't make sense. And if something doesn't make sense, then step back. Again, talk to someone about it. Send me an email. One of the things I'm pretty sure about is that if you've just recently met someone online and they ask you to send them some money or any other goods like cards, iPhone cards or whatever, any money or goods, or ask you to perform any services for them, like picking something up or sending something to you, then I could almost guarantee 99.9% that that is fraud. It is a scam of some description. And remember, whether it be romance, whether it be investment, whether it be someone just wanting to be a friend or wanting to network with you or whatever, if they're out to scam you, if they're out to extort you, they're not there to love you. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to create career opportunities for you. They are there to extort you and to take you for whatever they can get. And I know that sounds harsh, and I want to be positive, and I'm going to end on a positive note, because just reach out. Remember, there is no shame, or there should be no shame in finding yourself in a situation like this. The shame should sit with those that are corrupt. The shame should sit with those that are trying to extort. It shouldn't sit with those of us that perhaps may be a little bit too trusting. That may be part of our nature. It may be who we think we are, whatever. Just be careful. Like we're saying at the moment, wash your hands. I would be saying, do your research. Wash your hands. Do your research. Check it out. Talk to people. If something doesn't quite feel right, then don't follow it. And of course, just as I wind up, the most basic of basic, never give out any personal information online unless you can 100% verify and have proof provided that they are credible and who they say they are. But banks and places like that tell us all the time they will not ask us for that information. So please, please do not fall for it, whether it be online or across the telephone, whichever way they may reach out. And trust me, they're reaching out. They are just everywhere. My inbox is flooded at the moment with the variety of COVID-19 scams going around. So just trust your gut, have faith, wash your hands, do your research, and I hope you've taken something from this seminar. And as always, I'm open to discussion about this, about my experience in Argentina, life subsequently, anything really. My life is pretty much an open book in many respects. So please feel free to hit me up on social media, to flick me an email at standup2scams@gmail.com. Touch base. Take care and keep safe and stay at home. Kia ora koutou katoa.
The Community Research website offers a hub for good community research and researchers. It's the place for the public to find and share evidence about effective community practices. The website collects research and evidence and organizes these so that they can be easily accessed and used by other groups. You can access this research and browse by category, by a list of quick-link topics, or by searching for something specific. All of the research is free to download. The Community Research site is all about excellence and effective practices. You can view recordings of past webinars and find out about future ones. The webinars share evidence about what's working in the community sector. Published by Community Research in 2007, the Code of Practice provides the standards and guidelines for doing research. It's the place to start if you're thinking of undertaking research with or in a community or iwi. As well as the collection of research, we keep a register of experienced researchers who are skilled at working with iwi and communities. To find a researcher who can help you, we have a filter system which allows you to find people based on location, qualification, ethnic group, and area of expertise. The Community Research website is a unique resource for the community sector to use and share. It matters because communities who learn well will do well. It matters because it evidences what's working for us. For researchers and community people alike, we've made it as easy as possible to share your research on our website. Kaua e whakama. Uploading material is quick and simple. Save your work as a PDF and head over to Share Research. Answer a few questions that help us tag and organize the research so it's easy for people to find. If you're a researcher and skilled at working with communities, you can add your details to the directory of researchers so that you can be found. Community research keeps you updated and informed. This helps make you more effective. If you want to stay updated about the latest research, informed about new resources and our upcoming webinars, head over to sign up for our e-news on the home page. Community research is a rich resource built for and by the community. For it to reach maximum potential, we rely on you to contribute, participate, and support the resource to grow and thrive. Mā te kotahitanga e ora ai tātou.